Well, here in Washington, D.C., the world seems to be full of this thing called diarrhea. Now, apparently, the Supreme Court is permitting Donald Trump to run for president because he's immune to breaking the law, I think is what they said. And we have a beating of a young so-called immigrant from Myanmar. He was a sweet young 13-year-old boy. And I'm very curious to know how 3 fucking strong police officers, men, were needed to beat a small, thin boy from Myanmar. And it looked in the video like somebody else handed him something and said, run. So probably the other person in the video who was not injured handed the 13-year-old a gun replica made to look like a Glock. And then the police murdered him in public to show these other Myanmar immigrants not to try and run or resist the slave quarters they're being kept in here in the United States. So Myanmar is one of those things. And someone I know from high school was seen during their recent revolution there posting his jolly pictures of himself. His name is Sarosh Hussein from Reston, also known as Sajil Hussein's his brother. One moment. If you know me, you know I like my tea. A few years ago, I said my wealthy friends were going to give me an art studio, a free art studio here in D.C. In fact, now it's come true, and I'll be getting an apartment soon, as well as now I'm on disability. And look, I also said I have a place with a view of the Capitol Dome. This is transitional housing. I don't have a view of the Capitol Dome where I'll be living soon. But I do right now. My roommate didn't like hearing that. So he knocked on my door and asked me to be quiet. Because we're in D.C. and it's evil, slave trade, money, where each person is worth millions and millions of dollars, depending how beautiful they are. Those are fireworks, not gunshots. Apparently we're all fucked in the United States unless we do something now. That was Utica, New York, where they murdered a 13-year-old child. It's nothing new in the United States. It's just one more new nation to bring these small, thin, frail, beautiful people in from so the United States can make them their slaves and fucking do evil fucking things. So we have to change it, don't we? Yes, we fucking do. We have to fucking change it and fix it. For if we don't, then we fail all the children of the world immediately. And that's why I have to be quiet now. Preventive measures. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I agree with that. I have philosophies, ideas, and lots of books of poetries. And check this out. I didn't get this tooth pulled out yesterday like I thought, so it's got to sit in there a couple more weeks and still rot, except for I'm going to start brushing my teeth because they gave me a hygiene kit, and that's the shit. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke this joint right after I light it, because like any good place might want you to do is heal, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I've had many federale drive-bys, but never an FBI drive-by. That's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't like seeing that though. I don't like seeing people looking at the trash. I don't like seeing people hurting outside of the Starbucks begging, especially here on Capitol Hill.
On Capitol Hill, no doubt. And that's why it hurts the most. Because they're on Capitol Hill and they make the laws for the entire nation about 4 blocks that way. And while we all owe them $34 trillion, almost $35 trillion, that's $100,000 for each American tax-paying citizen, not the businesses that don't have to pay taxes, which is probably more than half at this point as franchise does. I gotta go, I hate it. So I've mostly shown you what you see on the world stage in my time here in Washington, D.C., being homeless. I haven't shown you too much of the stuff, so like, it's always about what you don't see about what's really going on. And so I'm over here on the colonnade of the AFL-CIO building, which is about 2 blocks from the actual building of the White House, maybe a block and a half, which is just across Lafayette Square that way. What most people don't realize, though, is guess what the closest places are to the White House here on 16th. And so you have the Hayes Hotel, you have the Ronald Reagan presidential whatever, and you have the Motion Picture Association. Right down here, you've got a restaurant as a corner store, an Italian restaurant, and a building of offices. And in that cluster between them is a thin building which represents Christian Scientology. They have a structure out front that kind of reminds me of an old TV movie or old movie that went to TV in the HBO times. It was kind of like the Muppets, about like the purple crystal or something like that. That's what it reminds me of. So you have Christian Scientology, the Motion Picture Association, the Ronald Reagan, whatever that is, because, you know, he was our first true born and proven actor to become president. And then, of course, they have the Motion Picture Association right there as well. And they made it Nito Burrito to have it in the building that's 888, pretending it's their angel numbers. I think that's probably their mistake. Because we all know who they say runs the country. It's not the politicians, it's the people who tell the politicians what to do. So there's a quick view of that. And then over here, and the one next to it, these are buildings for people, for labor, for the workers. And then down just one more block, you have the French Embassy. And these crepe myrtles are beautiful, and they smell more spectacular than you can imagine. And this one down here will fall right in your face. Right here. And hey, let's remember this too. When they wrote the King James Bible and stole certain parts of it and did weird stuff to manipulate it, to manipulate the society, so now that they have signs that say, learn more about the religion of our founding fathers, and their organization is called buildingwalls.org or something like that. Nah, shorty. Jesus was not a California surfer man. He was black, quote unquote black. And so the King James Version was written at a time when King James was the king of Great Britain, France, and Ireland. And because of that, you have to really reassess why it's called Lafayette Square, but they say this is an English colony. Then they had the French-American Indian War, where the Americans and the French got the Native American people to kill each other as much as possible. And what they would do is they would give one side inferior weapons to the other side. Probably made at the same foundries, the same factories, where they made steel and brass and iron and all the other things. They gave some people more brassy things that would bend and not hit hard. Other people more brittle things like iron that would snap off. And they'd keep the steel for themselves. Amazing, that name, steel. Guess where my people emigrated to? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that's called Steel City. Ah, the good old black and gold, the Stillers. Hope yins are up there doing well. I love you. Bye. I'll be moving in 2 weeks down on the Anacostia River at the confluence of the Anacostia and the Potomac River. It's going to be a beautiful apartment. I look forward to it very much. Very much so. My 2 roommates here moved out. Hope they're all right. No one told me they were moving out, nor I had to find out myself. This place is lovely. I recommend it. They're helpful people here very much. I'll be moving in 2 weeks down on the Anacostia River at the confluence of the Anacostia and the Potomac River. It's going to be a beautiful apartment. I look forward to it very much. Very much so. My 2 roommates here moved out. Hope they're all right. No one told me they were moving out, nor I had to find out myself. This place is lovely. I recommend it. They're helpful people here very much. I'm on Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. Eastern Market, 4th of July, and some people just run the community with drugs and prostitutes. We need help because that's evil. And in other news, get what you earned for veterans. It looks like these people are veterans, so it looks like a couple single men, a single woman, and a single mom. Is that what you get? Is that what you get? You get to be a single dude or a single man or a single woman or a single mom? Where's the family?